What's up everyone, it's Chip, and tonight I want to talk about the importance of protein and identify some sources that you can start to include in your daily intake. Protein is very important. What I always like to say is protein is king, but at the same time, a lot of times what I see is people just aren't getting enough protein in their daily intake. There's a lot of obstacles that come with it. Sometimes it's not very convenient. We have to prepare protein ahead of time. We usually have to cook it. Sometimes we don't know what protein is. A lot of times we think we're eating protein, but that's really not the case. So I'm gonna go over some of the best sources of what you can eat and how to include a variety to make sure you're getting enough protein in your daily intake. So the first one, all right, when we wake up, what is the most common breakfast food we think of when we're talking about protein? It's eggs, all right? And eggs are very important. They're one of the best whole food protein sources you can get. You can eat whole eggs or you can do egg whites. Remember, when you do whole eggs, you're also gonna get some fats within those. So you don't wanna just sit down and eat like 6 whole eggs. What I recommend doing is separating out some egg whites, do about a half cup or 6 to 8 egg whites, and then add like 2 whole eggs to it. That'll make sure you hit your protein numbers and also give you a good healthy amount of fats for energy. All right, next we'll start to move into lunch and we'll start to then think of maybe more of the whole food sources that we're used to. All right, when we think of protein, another one of the most common ones we always think of is chicken. Now, chicken's a very good protein source, but also chicken doesn't have to be plain and boring. There's a lot of different ways you can make that. One of my favorites right now is just take all your chicken breasts, throw them in a crock pot, throw in some of your favorite sauces, some vegetables, cook it for a little bit, and then the chicken will pretty much shred automatically. Another way, very simple, get some of your favorite seasonings and just throw all the chicken on the grill. You can get a marinade or something like that if you want to. Just watch out, look on the back and look for one that's a little lower in carbohydrates so you're not getting a lot of added sugars and things like that. All right, so that's a good way. That could be your lunch then, is chicken. If you get sick of chicken, another option is like ground turkey, or you can even get some turkey breasts or something like that. Again, just a different option to help you kind of switch it up and things like that. All right, you could also, I don't have any here, but ground beef, great protein source, any red meat. So when we talk about protein, we're basically talking about any animal source for the most part, and then we're also gonna have some dairy and things like that thrown in there. But what I like to do, my daily intake, is I like to focus on those whole food animal sources and start to think about, I want 3 different varieties. Something that swims, something that walks, something that flies. All right, that's an easy way that I kind of break it down so I get a different variety all throughout. Okay, now, again, all these things we just talked about, one of the challenges with those is that they all have to be prepared. A lot of times why it's so much easier to get like carbohydrates versus proteins is just because they're more ready available on the go. But there are some good protein sources available to you that doesn't take a lot of preparation. For instance, when you go to the store, you walk down, you can get yourself some tuna packets. All right, and again, tuna, it doesn't have to be plain and boring. Like, these are flavored, they're buffalo style, they're very good. If you eat 2 packets, you're getting about 30 grams of protein. Again, another way if you wanna mix it up, salmon, another excellent source of protein. Sometimes it's expensive, sometimes it's hard to prepare. So another alternative to that will be to buy it in packets. So if we're kind of looking at through the day, easy way to set up, breakfast, I'm gonna eat my eggs, chicken for lunch, maybe ground turkey or ground beef for dinner, and then that would be 3 whole food protein sources. I actually would probably wanna get 4, but I know right now some of us might only be eating twice a day. We might not be eating half this much protein. So that would be kind of a good place to start. Try and get yourself to 3 whole food sources. Now we also want to get to a point where even if we're eating those 3 whole foods and say 40 grams of protein for each meal, that's still going to be pretty low. Because if we think about it, that's only going to be 120 grams of protein for the day. And chances are that will not meet our daily needs. We're going to need a little bit more. So in that case, if adding more whole food isn't an option that we can see ourselves doing right now, this would be a good situation where supplements could actually come in and provide a benefit to supplement our whole food intake. So the next step maybe would be, we're eating 3 times, next would be to add like a meal replacement shake throughout the day. When you're looking for your protein shakes as a meal replacement, you want a combination of protein sources, meaning you just don't want something that's like an isolate whey. That's gonna be more directly for your post-workout nutrition, which is a completely different conversation. But as a real replacement, you want assimilating protein, lots of different varieties. So for this, we don't want just whey, we want maybe some whey, some casein, some egg white protein. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna give us energy for a longer amount of time. We're gonna have those wide variety of protein sources, both slow and fast. That's gonna give us more energy, help us feeling fuller longer. So that's the other side of it. Not only does it help us increase our protein intake, it also helps, you know, keep away from those cravings. So maybe we're drinking a protein shake versus running over to the vending machine. So that's a big advantage. So then if we start to look at our day now, we'd have four to five different protein sources, and that would be a great place to start. For each meal, you always want to prioritize your protein. And then what we're talking about, if you don't want to weigh all your food, that's fine. You know, you can also look at portion control, and what we'd be looking at there would be females. You know, you want one pretty good size, palm-sized servings of protein, and then for males, we'd want 2 palm-sized servings of proteins. That's gonna put us right about like the 3 to 5 ounces most likely for females, and then within the 6 to 8 for males, and that'll help us get our numbers to where they need to be. So that's an easy, simple way to break it down to start increasing your protein intake and getting closer to where you want on a daily basis. Thank you.